Yo, this is John Hope Bryant, and this is the Money and Wealth Black Effect Network podcast series on iHeartRadio. And every week I come to you with a new prescription uh, to unpack our economy and repack it with you in mind, breaking this down so that it's not intimidating or overwhelming. And there's nothing to fear. In fact, there's everything to embrace. And so we're going to have some fun. We're not gonna pick it. We're not gonna pick on anybody. It could be a lot of laughter and a lot of jokes for this segment if we wanted to, including my own. I used to have a shag. I had a hair extension when I was 19 years old. I think I had long hair back in the day with the Jerry curls. Remember that? And I wanted the hair extension, so I had it down to my collar. Right, it was 2 inches or whatever. But I got it done. Yeah, so I'm not hating on it. Members of my family growing up uh, partook in the uh, consumer product called hair weaves, and so it's all good. I just want you to benefit from it. I want you to benefit from the business model. I want to break down what's going on in our communities. So the topic of this week's podcast is: do you know how the profitable hair weave store business model actually works and who's working in it? uh, and here's the answer. I'm going to break it down for you and take you from the streets to the suites and then return you back to the streets, as in the consumer market, with you in mind, so that you can take control of your communities and your destiny. Before I get into this, why did I do this? Well, I'm going to break down a range of store business models or business models that affect our community that we see all the time, and we walk past it, drive by it, partake in it, pay it no mind, don't think about it. But it has everything to do with our quality of life and the lack of wealth creation, maybe, that we could be participating in, because some of this stuff is almost market bulletproof, like hair care products. But before I get there, let me tell you how I've been thinking about doing this topic for years now and why. I was in Africa, had to be 10 years ago. And I was in Uganda, I believe it was. And I was giving a speech on economic empowerment. And on the way back to the airport, the hosts were trying to get me to the airport, and there was no real traffic coordination or traffic laws, it appears, that I could discern there. And this is, again, more than 10 years ago. They might have gotten better since. But on the way there, and as my life was flashing in front of me from cars zipping in every direction, um, I noticed to the right there was a fruit and vegetable stand. And in the middle of this African country, this fruit and vegetable stand was run by an Asian family or an Asian group. They look Chinese to me. Now, let me start by saying, I'm going to mention Asians a couple of times in this podcast. I'm not hating on them. I think that this is brilliant that they found a way to take advantage of my question was, how in the heck did my Chinese brothers and sisters, and I'm going to do a whole podcast on China in Africa, by the way, so hold on for that one. But how in the heck did my Chinese brothers and sisters find a way to sell you your own fruits and vegetables on a street corner in Uganda, in the capital city of Uganda? How did they find themselves to the capital city in Uganda to sell fruits and vegetables to Black people, selling their own fruits and vegetables back to them? I think it's brilliant. I just and no, people was walking by them like it was normal, and clearly taking advantage of the opportunity to buy from them, and no one said a word. I did. I asked my driver, who seemed quite befuddled. And I had come there to talk about economic development, economic empowerment. So I was a little, I'm choking on I'm choking myself because this is such a fascinating topic for me. And so coming closer to home, how many hair weave stores? Now, we all know, I mean, you see them everywhere. You see sisters, our sisters, why am I picking on sisters? No, I mean, they look beautiful, and it's some of the. I mean, this is true art form. So this is. I'm just simply asking a question of how big do you think this market is um, for hair weave stores? And let me uh, see if I can unpack where the customers are for these stores. Number one, Atlanta, Georgia, the Black Mecca they call it. Uh, uh, Number two, Houston, Texas. Number three, Los Angeles, California. Number four, New York City. Five, Chicago, Illinois. Six, Detroit, Michigan. Seven, Dallas, Texas. Eight, Washington, D.C. Now, I've already given this away a little bit. I've already mentioned that Atlanta was the Black Mecca, known for its vibrant cultural scene. And it has, of course, numerous beauty salons and beauty supply stores and, yes, hair weave specialty stores, etc. Um, and most notably in places like Decatur in Southwest Atlanta, but all over the city. You have Houston, which has a large Black population, and LA with a diverse, but notably, most of the stores are in South LA and Inglewood in Los Angeles. So wherever you are, hello. The third ward, by the way, in Houston, Texas, in other inner city neighborhoods and hubs for beauty supply stores. New York City, Harlem, Brooklyn, Queens are notable areas with high concentration of beauty supply stores. Um, uh, and South Side and West Side of Chicago, same. My family actually is in that business in Chicago. East Detroit and neighborhoods like Midtown have significant numbers of beauty supply stores. Give me shout outs for these places where you live and you know where I'm talking about. Dallas, Texas. South Dallas and Oak Cliff are prominent areas for beauty supply stores. Washington, D.C. and Acacia in Northeast D.C. have numerous beauty supply stores. What's consistent about all of these places? Black people. We are a several $billion market, billion with a B, for hair weave stores. I didn't say beauty supply. I didn't say the beauty industry. Just to give you some context, um, the beauty industry, the American economy is, 26, $27 trillion a year economy. The whole economy, they call it GDP, gross domestic product, largest economy in the world. Um, the hair care, beauty, broader segment is about 93 billion. Big. Several billion, um, at least 2.5 to 3 billion alone is this submarket I'm about to tell you about, and of hair weave stores, most of which we don't own. So we're buying it, but we don't own it. The fact that we don't own it is my issue, not the fact that we're buying it. Um, and so be very clear on what I'm talking about and why I've decided to focus on this area. Um, the target audience are primarily women of various age groups who are interested in hair weaves, extensions, and related hair care products, although men partake in this as well. I told you I had a hair extension when I was 19, 20 years old of age, a little shag in the back. I've already mentioned that. So I'm owning my piece. Location of high traffic areas near other complementary businesses like beauty salons, barbershops, fashion stores, accessible and highly visible. Now, one of the reasons why uh, Black communities are targeted is because we have such value for culture and cultural looks, and we put a high um, index. We underscore um, the different fabulous looks that we can create, and that includes hair texture, and we change up our looks, and we're uh, as a result of that, a pop culture. We are, you know, interesting as relates to look, feel, fashion, music all around the world. Again, are we owning it? Is the question I'm asking here. Now, who owns these businesses? Many Asian immigrants, particularly Koreans, have established strong networks and business knowledge in the beauty supply industry, including sourcing and distribution. Over time, these businesses have developed a deep understanding of the preferences and needs of Black consumers, which help in tailoring their offering. Um, they started in the 60s and the 70s, actually, coming in these neighborhoods and specializing. And God bless them again. They've done a brilliant job. And I'm going to talk to you about how we can potentially join them in dominating um, this industry within 10 years, sharing in the industry or dominating it. I mean, it's we are the customers, for God's sakes. We should have a shot at least having a share of the market, if not owning the market. Uh, One of the reasons that Asians have done such a great job up until now is that they have a great network to source the product uh, from the factory, particularly the synthetic product, all the way through the upward distribution chain. So let me talk about some of the structural issues. Uh, the imports come from places like China, India, and South Korea. They again, these are long time relationships where they get preferred pricing, bulk orders at low per unit costs, enabling uh, competitive pricing and high profit margins. I'm gonna get to high profit. I'm gonna get to the profit margins in a minute. Make sure you're sitting down when I tell you what the profit margins are. Um, Leveraging their low cost base from direct imports, they can offer competitive prices while maintaining good profit margins. Stocking a wide range of products in various price points caters to different customer budgets, from affordable synthetic hair to premium human hair extensions. Um, High turnover, frequent demand for hair products combined with a high customer base ensures steady cash flow and high turnover rates. Turnover rates meaning that the inventory keeps turning over quickly, right? They don't have to hold it for long. It comes in, it doesn't sit on the shelf for long. It's come in, they buy it, and they don't need lines of credit and bank loans, all that stuff, because it turns over, it moves really quickly. Large storage or chains benefit also from economies of scale, reducing the cost even further. And again, I'm gonna get to that in just a second. Family run businesses, many of these stores are family operated, reducing labor costs even more. They're not paying their family members for some of the labor. I'm not going to deal with the labor law issues there, but you know, folks work their stuff out the way they work it out. They tend to have built strong relationships in the community. That's really smart. Now let's talk about the profit margins, gross margins, hair weaves and extensions. These products often have gross margins ranging from, it's hard to get this out. Keep in mind that grocery stores have a margin, a profit margin of 3 to 4 or 5% on average for some of the stuff on their shelves. Grocery stores. Okay, so hold on. The profit margins range from 50 to 100% or more. For instance, a human hair weave that costs $50 wholesale might sell for $100 to $150. Synthetic hair, generally, these have lower margins than human hair, but they can still offer 40 to 70% gross profit margins. Then they have other products that they sell ancillary to the hair weaves in these stores. That includes combs, brushes, styling tools, which can have margins between 40 and 60%. Now let's get into the actual revenues. Again, there are thousands of these stores across the country. As you're listening to this podcast, you might drive by some of these stores. You're like, oh, they're right there, right? Don't go in chastising the people about their business model. You could have done it, and you still could do it. Just salute them. God bless them, and don't go in asking them all the details about their business. They're not going to tell you, and they're not giving you their special sauce. But I'm going to give it to you so that you can compete on a fair basis, right? Maybe even partner with them, even better. I love joint ventures. I'll get to that in a minute. Revenue, small stores, annual revenue can range between $100,000 to $500,000. This is a small store. Small store, one store. Medium to large stores. These stores can generate between $500,000 to over $1 million in annual revenue. Did you hear me? Per store. I've already told you the turnover rate of the inventory is expeditious. It's quick, quick, quick. So they don't even have to hold inventories for long periods of time. Chains and franchises. Chain stores, and franchises. Large chains or franchise stores can see revenues in the millions. Net profit. Net profit margin typically ranges between 10 to 20% after accounting for all expenses, rents, utilities, payroll, employees, inventory, marketing, etc. For a store with, say, $500,000 in annual revenue, a net profit margin of, say, 15% would result in about $75,000 in profit. And if you wanted to have a $150,000 annual net profit for your family, in this example, you'd have to have two of those small, well, small to medium size stores. Here's some of the cost structures, and then I'm going to get into some different business models between small stores, medium-sized stores, and large stores. And we're going to get into some other fun facts about this business. Fixed costs. Rent can vary significantly by location, but it typically ranges between $1,000 and $5,000 per month for a retail storefront. You see them in the strip centers, the corner malls. Sometimes even what's going on with commercial real estate, you can get very good deals in even prominent shopping centers these days, right? So shop around, no pun intended. Utilities, generally between $200 and $500 per month. I hope you're taking notes on everything I'm saying. And pick up my book, Financial Literacy for All, which is now a national bestseller in economics and business finance, #1 for the last 3.5 months on Amazon. You can also find it in black bookstores. You can find it at Walmart, Barnes and Nobles, etc. It's #1. They had to reprint it already. I want to thank my publisher and all those who supported the book when it came out, and all of you who've now given it almost 5-star reviews online. Get the book, underline it, and begin to put notes like this as a fold in to what becomes a business manual for your life. How are you going to build wealth? You make money during the day, you build wealth in your sleep. Maybe you're making money by having a job. Your 9 to 5 maybe finances your 5 to 9. Maybe this is your 5 to 9 hustle. Maybe this is your dream to build generational wealth and have some fun at the same time, because maybe you're a lady listening to this and you love hair. Maybe you're a guy listening to this and you love the science of hair, or or you love the hair business. My brother Lance Triggs, my brother and friend Lance Triggs, not my brother, but my brother, who runs the program division at Operation Hope. He was in the hair care business. That's where I met him, actually, years ago, when he and I both danced on Soul Train and American Bandstand. Yes, I danced on Soul Train and American Bandstand. Me and Lance and I did that, which is where I needed the brooch on my scarf and my big leather jacket and my little hair extension, my hair situation for my shag. That's back in the day. You can go and try and find the episodes if you like. Good luck. I'm not going to help you. But so the haircut business is a big business, and I'm breaking it down to a small, bite-sized, consumable business plan for you. So rent between $1,000 and $5,000 per month on average. Utilities about $200 to $500 per month. Insurance and licenses can range between $500 to $2,000 annually. Okay. You want to check on any licenses that you might need and insurance. You definitely want to have insurance if you're going to have a business like this or any business. Variable costs, inventory, the largest variable costs comprising 50% of the revenue um, is the inventory itself, which is both the synthetic and the real hair. Labor, employees can vary, but for a small store, labor costs might range $2,000 to maximum of about $10,000 per month, depending on the number of employees and local wage rates. Marketing costs, that'll range from a few $100s to several $1,000s, depending on how you do it. But social media, you do a lot of your marketing through social media and through your clubs, organizations you're part of, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'll get to that before we finish on how you can possibly dominate this industry. Examples for financials for a small store. This is a medium small store. Okay, about $300,000 in revenue. Again, I hope you guys are writing this down. You can always go back and take some notes, and write it down later. Cost of goods sold, COGS, cost of goods sold on a $300,000 store. What did I tell you? Is a 50% profit margin. Okay, so the cost of goods sold is going to be about $150,000 in this example. Okay. Gross profit, what's that going to be? About $150,000, 50%. Operating expenses, a total of about $105,000 in this example. Let me break this down. Rent, $36,000 in this example. Utilities, $3,000 in this example. Labor, $48,000 in this example. Marketing, $5,000 in this example. Miscellaneous insurance licenses, etc., $13,000 in this example. All right, and uh, and so in this particular example, you're going to make a net profit of $45,000. You see how that worked? So you had your cost of goods sold, which is the product itself, right? That's half of your revenue. So now you got $150,000 left. And of that, you have operating expenses of about $105,000 in this example. And so you have a net profit of about $45,000. This is not a very efficient business model. This is one of the least efficient. It's a small sole standing store, they call it. But it's still not bad. That's still even paying really the highest, is in each segment. You're still making, $45,000 a year, call it $50,000 a year before taxes. And you should have reasonable tax write-offs if you're running a business like this. And so if you want to make, $250,000 a year with this model, you need 5 stores, and you want to have it in your local area so you can drive around and visit them all. Scalability and growth. Successful stores can expand by opening additional locations or franchising. Of course, online sales, I'm a big booster for that. You should go to our 1 million Black business, 1MBB platform, our partnership with Shopify, and open an e-commerce business as an example. This is a low-cost way. You want to have rent and all that stuff in the traditional model I talked about. So your profit margin should go up. 1MBB, 1 Million Black Business Initiative. Again, I'll come back to that in more detail before we finish. Product diversification, introducing new product lines, exclusive brands, or customized services can enhance customer loyalty and increase your sales. This is a really profitable business model that we are not taking advantage of. And I'm not going to say people are taking advantage of us. I think that people are just uh, targeting a great customer base that has uh, 1.5 give or take $1 trillion in annual consumer spending, and we over-index on beauty and health. So we already talked about the biggest cities. Now let's talk about um, you know hair. Real hair versus synthetic. Now I don't know anything about the science of this, ladies, so don't get down on me. I'm talking about just the economics, right? You don't know what you're talking about. We don't. I only like it. human hair. Okay, cool. I have no opinion here other than I want you to own what you own. If you can parse that message. Maybe I shouldn't have done this episode. I could have found an easier topic, less culturally sensitive. Of course, I'm going to do it. Synthetic hair, affordability. Synthetic hair is generally more affordable than real hair, making it accessible to a wider range of customers. This affordability contributes to its popularity amongst individuals who are cost effective or cost sensitive. Um, and they're looking for a cheaper option. Now, you'll find a lot of these stores. Now, these stores are everywhere. You find black people. Black people are the number one. If I didn't mention it, we are the number one customer for hair weave for the hair weave sector, hair weave extensions, wigs in the country. Isn't that crazy? Number one customer, and we don't own it. Uh, and uh, a lot of these stores you're going to find in uh, 500, 600 credit score neighborhoods. And it doesn't mean they're targeting you because of your credit score. I'm just saying that um, for some reason there's a super concentration, probably just because there's a super concentration of African Americans in these neighborhoods. There's a super concentration of these stores. There are some stores that I think are predatory. Check cashiers, some check cashiers, payday loan lenders, rent to own stores, title lenders, liquor stores. I do believe are preying on certain neighborhoods and communities. I don't think that hair weave stores are predatory. I think they're targeting it very smartly. So the synthetic is just less expensive. Synthetic hair comes in a wide variety of colors, styles, and textures, allowing for more versatility and styling. It also is more readily available than real hair. Low maintenance. Synthetic hair requires less maintenance than real hair and retains its style better in various weather conditions. Again, ladies, don't start arguing with me on this, or guys, right? I'm just telling you, from a marketing perspective and a buying perspective, if you want lower cost product that um, is more flexible, uh, quotation marks, and you do synthetic that more people buy and it's cheaper. Real hair, uh, natural. It has more of a natural appearance. Real human hair is often preferred for its natural look and its feel. It can be styled, colored, and treated just like regular natural hair, making it a popular choice for those seeking a more authentic appearance. Translation: those who got some money are not so price sensitive and want to have a more uh, authentic look will spend more money for natural hair. Real hair extensions tend to last longer than synthetic ones, especially with proper care. This durability appeal to customers looking for a longer term investment. See, investment. Um, Real hair can be heat styled and permed, offering more styling options compared to synthetic hair, which can be limited in terms of heat tolerance. Profitability, my favorite topic. Um, Higher markups for synthetic hair. Despite the lower price point, synthetic hair can be sold at a higher or high markup. Retailers benefit from high volume sales and relatively low wholesale costs. So there you are, right there. Like you can just stop right now at minute 28 if you want to know why this business is taken off. You've got the synthetic hair, which is high turnover. It comes in and sits on the shelf very short period of time and it's gone. It's low cost. You can mark it up to bejeebers and back and sell it pretty quickly. It's pretty dependable as a sales product. And then you have repeat purchasers who, because you have this sort of dedicated customer base. Real hair is a higher price point. It's sold at a significantly higher price point than synthetic hair, resulting in higher revenue per unit sold. Okay, so quality over quantity. Uh, and of course, benefits from also this loyal customer base who says, I want only to get human hair. There is a noticeable shift in demand and customer demand towards real hair due to the natural appearance and durability. However, synthetic hair remains popular due to its affordability and variety. So it's never there's a flight to quality, so to speak, right? When the Wall Street when the investment community starts having trouble on stocks and bonds, all the flaky stocks go away, and investors tend to do a flight to quality, go to the standard bearers, the most dependable companies. and invest there. And so there is a shift by some consumers to higher quality or natural hair. But this low cost option is not, in my opinion, going to ever go away because it's lower cost. Period. Um, and there's also advances in technology that led to the production of higher quality synthetic hair that more closely mimics the look and feel of real hair. Of real hair. Do you know this is going to be just for Black folks a $10 billion industry? I mean, this is crazy. Now, um, sourcing is one of the reasons why our Asian brothers and sisters have been able to control this market. And they've been sourcing it primarily from traditional Asia, like China. Just you can just say China basically and stop there. But I want you to think now about India and Brazil. Okay, expand your mind. Um, you've got temple hair donations in India. India is one of the largest exporters of human hair. This is natural hair, primarily sourced from temple donations. Devotees of Hindu temples, especially in South India, donate their hair as an offering. This hair, often referred to as Remi hair. I hope I'm saying that right. Remi hair, Remy, is highly valued because the cuticles are aligned, making it easier to manage and style. Um, After collecting, the hair is processed, cleaned, and sorted before being exported. I'm glad it's cleaned. Indian hair is popular for its texture and quality and is used extensively in the global hair extension market. Um, Now, Brazil. Do you know that one of the largest populations of Africans outside of Africa is Brazil? Um, Slaves stopped there, or they were let off there, and unfortunately became a huge slave trading place. All the Caribbean islands, by the way, but Brazil in particular. So there's a real exotic sort of blend of hair in Brazil. Brazilian hair is also highly sought after for its texture and durability. It is known for its thickness and ability to blend well with various hair types. What I was just talking about, the diversity that sort of emerged in Brazil because of all the mixing of the races with Africans. Uh, get this one: Russian and Eastern Europe. Hair from Russia and Eastern Europe is often considered premium due to its fine texture and natural light color, which are in high demand in certain markets. China, we know that story. Um, Indonesia and the Philippines. And there are other places that are emerging, but I want you to think about, if you think about going into this business, I want you to think about going into markets and building relationships with manufacturers and manufacturing sources that are not controlled by those who already control the market. So, what I'm saying is going outside of China, and maybe Brazil is an option. Maybe India is an option for you. And um, the uh, the business is extraordinarily lucrative, and uh, we don't own it because we don't have the historical context and market entrenchment. Because I mentioned that our Asian brothers and sisters started this business in the 1960s and 1970s. They were able to build, very strong supply chains, create, meaning that from the manufacturer all the way through shipping to, in this case, the U.S. They created create loyal community networks, established these distribution channels that have remained robust over decades. And I'm going to give you a suggestion of how you can work with them in a moment. Uh, Two, supply chain control. Just sort of touched on that already. Capital and financing barriers. Starting a business can be capital intensive, and African Americans have been discriminated against in lending practices. We all know that. So we've not really had access to capital. The Freedmen's Bank, as you've heard me talk about extensively, um, uh, Abraham Lincoln created after the Civil War to teach free slaves about money, and the Freedmen's Bank was upended. We never were taught financial literacy, never given the memo on how money, capitalism, and free enterprise works. That was my fourth book, The Memo. Love Leadership and Banking on Our Future, my book Love Leadership, How the Poor Can Save Capitalism, The Memo, yep, number 4, Up From Nothing, number 5, and now this book, Financial Literacy for All. Go and read all of them. But in this particular example, I talk about the memo and how we never got the memo. We're not dumb and we're not stupid. It's what we don't know that we don't know that's killing us, but we think we know. And no one ever taught us about free enterprise and capitalism and how it works, which is why this podcast is so important. It's not for just Black people, it's for everybody. But I over-index, I overemphasize how African Americans need to come up and gain our rightful position on the economic stage because we are brilliant. Wherever the rules are published and the playing field is level, we absolutely kill it. What did we do recently to break the mode of a misperception? Because we in where the rules are published and the playing field is leveled, arts, professional sports, government service, faith community, we absolutely dominate. And even in sports, we've got professional tennis and F1 racing and all this stuff. Now we've just won our first leg in the Tour de France, cycling. Brother just won, first time ever, African person of African descent won a leg of the race. They call it, well, in the Tour de France overall race, he just won what's called a stage. So this is a new stage that we can perform on. It's the stage of business and capitalism and free enterprise, and we can find ways. Operation Hope can help you. We've directed $4.5 billion in capital to people to start businesses and and build wealth through home ownership and other mechanisms. So go to 1MBB, 1 Million Black Business, get your in-kind grant that's worth up to $25,000, which includes a Shopify e-commerce account for free, a website, a domain name, a business plan, all this stuff to help you start your business. You can start this business as an example if you like, or a range of others that I will unpack on this podcast network, or you can research on your own. So number 4, for the barriers and why we haven't done this, community and network support. Asian entrepreneurs have benefited from a strong community and network amongst their own for business advice and financial backing and logistical support. And we can do the same thing. Again, I'll get to that in a minute. Business practices and relationships. Over the years, Asian business owners have developed strong relationships with manufacturers and wholesalers, securing better pricing and exclusive deals. These long-term business relationships create a competitive edge that is difficult for new entrants to overcome. Now, don't be mad at them for wanting to keep you out. I'm going to suggest to you a way to get you in, but don't be mad at them for trying to keep you out. Business is a gladiator. Capitalism is a gladiator sport. They're not trying to be your best friend. They're trying to sell your product and take home a profit. They don't want you to be a salesperson competing with them, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Market perceptions and consumer behavior. Consumers often associate certain stores with quality and reliability based on their long-standing presence in the community. Asian-owned beauty supply stores have built reputations over time, which can influence consumer behavior and loyalty. So some people they'll come into a store, a beauty supply store, or a hair weave specific store, and if it's Asian owned, oddly enough, we trust it more. I think that we need to reimagine that and think that, well, clearly, if there's a Black owned business serving a market that is dominated by Black people, and we're running it with excellence, which I'm convinced we can and we will, that should now become a new standard. There are ongoing efforts to increase African American ownership in the beauty supply chain, which I'm going to end the podcast with. But I really wanted you to, I really want you to sort of focus on the fact that you drive by these stores all the time, and you don't notice that they're not owned by you, um, and you're the customer, and the industry's bulletproof. I mean, we're going to always want to look good, as we should, right? So then why wouldn't we uh, partake in this business as an owner? So what if I said to you that African Americans could dominate the hair weave market in 10 years. What if I said that to you? Right. So here's some things that we would need to do. We need to have a multifaceted strategy, not emotions, not anger, not protesting, not drama. Don't go protesting the Asian businesses because they were smart enough to buy in your neighborhood. Uh, you know, if you see some white folks peddling through your neighborhood with t-shirts and short pants and flip-flops on, that's not a tourist. That's an owner. And don't be mad at them because they were smart enough to buy a house in the hood, which is typically near transportation, near places of work, uh, near uh, economic activity, and low costs. And they like, shoot, I love hanging around good food and good people. So they bought it at low cost, much lower than they could have bought in their own neighborhood, which they would have to drive an hour in the suburbs to get to. They bought it, rehabbed it, and lived in it. And we call that gentrification, but in reality, all gentrification literally means is a movement to middle class values. That is the dictionary definition of it. So we could do that same thing. We could own our own homes and we could own our own businesses. So don't hate on somebody who was smart enough to see our community as valuable and we didn't. Hello. I mean, the Ku Klux Klan's not running through the neighborhood with torches and saying, "Get out of the neighborhood." We're voluntarily moving out, or letting grandma's house fall into disrepair. I'm going to do a whole podcast on tax uh, defaults and how that's both a major problem and a major opportunity. Tax defaults, property tax defaults on real estate, and what it is and how to do it. It's a business. But in this particular example, I don't want you negatively approaching Asian owned businesses who've been smart enough to come in our neighborhoods. And it's not just business, just this business. It's nail salons. I mean, think about it. It's quite fascinating. And they've done a really good job and they provide great value. And, they should be supported. Now, you can compete with them and create your own strategy, but it has to be non emotional and it has to be serious business. A multifaceted strategy focuses on ownership, community support, education, and innovation. And here are some pieces. Now, write this down. Number one, so if somebody's listening to this podcast and they only want to know the business approach of how African Americans can approach this multi-billion-dollar, soon $10 billion industry, where the number one customer is and are Black folks, is or depending on how we talk about the singular person as a customer type or the group, the community, that the customers that are being targeted are Black folks. Why would we not want to see this as a major opportunity to have a strategy? Whenever you make a decision emotionally, it's a bad decision. So make this intelligently from the neck up, not the shoulders down. I mean, don't fight, don't get angry, get smart and create a business plan. One, increase ownership and control over the supply chain. Invest in manufacturing and distribution. Establish manufacturing facilities by investing in or establishing hair manufacturing facilities. African Americans can control the quality and pricing of products. This can reduce reliance on Asian suppliers and create jobs within the community. Building robust distribution channels will ensure products are widely available and competitively priced. Now, you can think about doing uh, 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 synthetic hair right here in the US or in Africa or in Brazil. Be creative. You can also go to India and cut deals with your Indian brothers and sisters, or go to Brazil and cut deals with your Brazilian brothers and sisters around their manufacturing to either do a preferred deal with them based on volume and consistency, or have them to partner with you, joint venture to manufacture with you. You provide the customers and they provide the capital to start manufacturing. And maybe you have an earn out over time where you buy them out of the manufacturing over time. There are a number of ways for you to go about this, but in all these examples, you want to go to Operation Hope or the Urban League or whoever has a training program or 1 million Black business program at Operation Hope. It will help get you trained up to do this business plan if you're interested. Um, so invest in manufacturing, support Black owned businesses. I've already said that this does not mean, I don't mean put a black owned business sign in your your window. I mean, uh, uh, because that may turn customers away who may feel that you don't want a black customer. You want everybody. The color of currency is green. You want everybody to come in your business. So but you might, if you want to support black-owned hair weave and beauty supply stores, look at your business chambers. The Black Business Chamber here in Atlanta is a great example. They do a great job, and there are other uh, organizations, and the Russell Center here. There's all these organizations around the country, but most cities have a black chamber. See who's a member. If there's any black-owned hair care businesses that are members of the chamber. If there's a black beauty salon or barbershop, start there and ask them if they know anybody who's black owned, and support those businesses so their dollars recycle. Number two, access to capital and financial resources. Leverage community banks and credit unions. If you're a member of a credit union, then you have a preferred access to the capital of that credit union. Did you know that? You actually own part of the credit union if you're a member of a credit union. Community banks also reinvest in their local community. Operation Hope can help you find the bank that will most likely get you access to capital and will help you get bank qualified. Most of these loans are going to be tied to your personal credit profile because most black businesses are sole proprietorships. And when you get started, the business does not have a credit profile. You have a credit profile. It's probably your credit score. So I want you to get your credit score up. You can also do crowd funding and try to get grants, try to get an SBA guarantee, look for SBA 8A business development program offices. And there's a whole range of options and opportunities to try to raise capital. I raised capital with my credit cards. I started my first businesses on credit cards when I first started. So it's everything from the unsophisticated to the sophisticated. And my team at Operation Hope can help you do that. Financial education, as you know, I'm big on that. Financial literacy is what we do at Operation Hope, the 1MBB program, once again. Innovation and product development. This is some place where African Americans can absolutely, like be stars because we're the most creative people on the planet. So innovate new products that cater specifically to the needs and preferences of African American consumers. Underscore, underscore, underline, underline. Maybe our Asian brothers and sisters can outdo you on, manufacturing in China and the prices for this and all that. And yes, you can't compete with that very easily. But if you come up with a different style or a different approach or a different way or different manufacturing style for synthetic hair, or making synthetic hair look like more human hair, or a different kind of human hair. I mean, again, maybe you specialize in Brazil fashions or Brazilian hair. Maybe it's Brazilian and India. I'm just riffing here. I'm just saying, come up with your niche and then just innovate around that, and then tied into e-commerce. That's selling online, digital commerce. Whatever business you have, you should have an e-commerce sister. If you have a restaurant, it should be an e-commerce restaurant. You have a beauty salon, an e-commerce beauty salon. So you can sell online 24 hours a day. You make money during the day. You build wealth in your sleep. Artificial intelligence and data analytics. AI is going to be big, and this can help you get a leg up on the local uh, hair weave business that probably is not using any technology at all. And I'm sure they're not using artificial intelligence. And that gives you some market um, understanding and data analytics to understand customer preferences, predict trends, personalize marketing strategies, and maybe just outsmart somebody who's been doing business for 10 years. And by the way, maybe just go buy their business from them. Like, don't protest them, buy them, right? Just make a proper offer, pay them. They've already done all the work for you. They've already done the market research. They've already created a customer base. Don't hate on them. Joint venture with them. By the way, another opportunity is to joint venture with the businesses that are there. So you bring in new customers, maybe you bring in a different, maybe you start. So if there's a beauty supply shop that doesn't do hair weaves, then maybe you start the hair weaves department of the beauty supply shop. Or if there's a beauty supply shop there that doesn't do, maybe there's a hair weave shop but doesn't do hair styling. maybe you start that as a joint venture with them with some of the real estate they are they're not using there on site. Or maybe if they're doing all synthetic hair, maybe you propose to do natural hair, and you have now pioneered in this example relationships in Brazil and India that they don't have because their relationships are just in China. And so you're bringing in a value added, and as my friend Robert Grew would say, 10 ones equal 10. So if they're doing, $500,000 in business, you're not trying to take their business, but you're saying, look, if I can raise the revenue to 750,000 $750,000 a year in business, can I joint venture with you and you give me half of the profits above $500,000? That's called a joint venture or strategic alliance in this example. And that's in this example, you're using your hustle and your 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 game, your ability to talk and to sell, and your network of women's clubs and churches and nonprofits and community groups that you are connected to bring in more business, new kinds of business to this existing store. So a strategic alliance, a joint venture, or purchase the shop. And because the shop already has existing revenue, you can get bank financing and traditional financing because it's not based on you as a person or your credit score. It's based on the revenue of that business. So in another a big way for us to start businesses actually is to buy businesses. R&D, research and development, innovate again, new products, eco-friendly and ethnically sourced products to attract a broader customer base concerned with sustainability. I've already mentioned e-commerce and artificial intelligence, professional training, come on, John, English, brother, cosmetology schools, stop laughing. You try to do an hour podcast and not make a mistake. Establish, and I don't use like controlled notes. I'm just riffing here. I'm talking about heart. Establish and support cosmetology schools that focus on African American hair care, training professionals who can innovate and lead in the industry. You create a strategic alliance with them. Workshops and seminars, conduct workshops and seminars to educate consumers and entrepreneurs about the hair care industry, and specifically do workshops and seminars on hairstyling and all that stuff. And you can get customers by doing that, and partner with churches. Big. I would do a whole network partnering with churches, and the churches have an economic development department, or they a housing department. They've already shown they want to go beyond church on Sunday. They want to be a 7 day a week experience for the Black community. Imagine partnering with some of the church denominations or some of the mega churches, or and bringing this piece again is another joint venture or strategic alliance example where they bear the cost of products and all that stuff, and the leases and all that stuff, and you just bring in your ability to hustle and innovate to the game. Leverage cultural influences. Highlight the cultural significance of hair in the African American community through marketing and branding efforts. Use media and influencers to celebrate and promote Black beauty standards, encouraging pride and support of Black owned hair care brands. Um, and I mean, think about the Essence Festival. I mean, imagine if you could get all the Black owned hair weave businesses to come together and sponsor some booths at the Essence Festival. As an example, it becomes more than a party, it becomes a huge revenue source once a year for you. But think about all the conferences and events that happen. Maybe I'm going too far. Maybe women are not going to buy hair weaves at the the gala. So I may be going a bit too far, but you get my point. Build strong community ties. Host community events, hair shows, and expos to engage with consumers directly and build brand loyalty. An influencer strategy. There you go. Right. Partner with influencers and celebrities to reach a broader audience and create buzz around Black-owned hair care products. Why aren't these celebrities? I think if you want to get a partner in this business, and I'm not telling you to do this, right? I'm just saying it's just if you're a new ball player, a new basketball player or football player, money's burning a hole in your pocket, right? They waste it on nothing. Maybe you can convince one of these guys, to invest in your business, or if you see some celebrities, singers or whatever, they understand the value of this product, right? So maybe you can convince one of them to partner with you, and if they don't put any money in it, maybe they just agree for a percentage of the business to promote it. I mean, how valuable could that be? I mean, that has to be extraordinarily valuable just to have them promote the business. So we've covered a lot of ground in this podcast. I hope it's been helpful. I hope it's been inspiring. I want you to be positive. I want you to understand that it's not racism or sexism or whatever else that has us buying this product from somebody else. It's that they saw a market benefit and emotionalism from us that we were just so excited we're going to go buy this product. Um, and they invested time, energy, resources to sell it to us at a price point that we would embrace. And again, Black communities have a very strong cultural and aesthetic emphasis on hairstyling, including weaves, extensions, and wigs, creating a consistent and lucrative market for what has been up until now mostly Asian entrepreneurs. And these are underserved markets. Historically, mainstream beauty supply chains did not cater adequately to the specific hair needs of Black consumers, creating an opportunity for specialized stores. And these specialized stores, up until now, have been Asian immigrants, particularly Koreans, who have, again, these strong networks and business knowledge in the beauty supply industry, including sourcing and distribution and contacts back at home, and are willing to work long hours and sacrifice and not get paid right up front and have a humble spirit and build trust in our relationships. And they, again, at a low barrier of entry, meaning that the stores are not that expensive to start. I've already talked about that you can really start one of these stores with a few $1,000s uh, online, and it appears I mean, my guess is $25,000 would get you going on a retail store, and it appears if you worked it really really well, you'd be profitable within a year. It's unheard of for a business, profitable within a year. So think about this. Don't be mad at folks for doing it. Salute them, applaud them. See if you can joint venture with them. See if you can do a strategic alliance with them. See if you can buy their shop because maybe they're just tired and ready to get out, and there's no exit strategy. So that all they've got is that revenue for the rest of their life. But if you can buy the store from them and give them a check to leave, to bounce, and you get a valuation on the store, so you know what you're paying for. You know you're paying a fair price, and now you're the owner of the store. You don't have to go start from scratch. But make sure if you buy the store, you want a contract which includes an assurance that their suppliers are going to give you a long-term contract for the cost of goods from the same suppliers they're getting it from. So if you want a customer list, you want a supplier list, you want a vendor list, you want long-term contract with those suppliers and those vendors. Um, you want the owner to send notices, several, to their customer list, letting them know that they should trust the new owner and that they're endorsing you. There are certain things. Again, my team at Operation Hope can help you walk through this. Not just Operation Hope. There's tons of other organizations that can help you, but I'm the founder of Operation Hope, so I'm endorsing this as a strategy. Go to our small business programming, our entrepreneurship programming. Go to our 1MBB programming, 1 Million Black Business Initiative. Get the book Financial Literacy for All as a primer, and go back and listen to this podcast over and over and write down all the notes, and then you can ask my coaches specific questions if I walked past something too quickly. I hope that you've enjoyed this. This has been John Hope Bryan, and this is the Black Effect Network podcast series. This is John Hope Bryan on Money and Wealth. This is my weekly pulpit of finance and my place for the civil rights movement, the third Reconstruction. Opportunity for all, where the new color is not black or white or red or blue, it's green, as in the color of U.S. currency. And this is a global movement. And we shouldn't be we shouldn't be having to go to Uganda and wonder why some Chinese brother, very nice person, is selling fruits and vegetables to our own people in Uganda. I mean, I love that that's happening, but we should at least say we don't want to sell fruits and vegetables to our people in Uganda. We looked at it, it's not profitable enough, or whatever the thing is. It's not something we want to do. We want to go in another business industry. But we shouldn't just be consumers wherever we go. Can I get an amen? All right. This is a church of what's happening now. And what have you done for me lately? This is John Hope Bryant. I'm out. Spread the word.